Hi guys, it's Cyndi, aka Disney Queen. A few months ago, I told you that I would start doing a series about my trip reports that I used to do when we first started going on Disney vacations. And so today is going to be the very first trip that I ever took to Disney. Now, at the time, I wasn't even thinking about doing my own trip report, but I had done a lot of research. So let me start from the beginning. The very first trip that we ever took to Disney was back in 1998. I believe I was 35 years old at the time, and I was super excited. And I had been reading trip reports on, I think his name was Brian Bennett. And he had a website where people could give an account of their trips to Disney, and it had all kinds of information. And it always started out with who the cast of characters were that were going on the trip, what the plans were for their trip. And honestly, I really believe that's when I started falling in love with doing Disney trip reports. And I also decided to do a website. Now, I had done a lot of research once I found out that we would be going on our first ever trip to Disney. And I had done so much research online that I actually got carpal tunnel syndrome, because I was constantly on the computer printing out stuff, looking up information. Every Disney website that I could get my hands on, I was on. And so some of the first ones that I was ever on was Walt Disney World information, Brian Bennett's website. I don't think he has his website anymore, but I'll have to look it up and see if there's any information about him. I also looked at Deb Willis's website, which was where I got a lot of my menus about what was available for you to eat at Disney. And that's how I found out about character dining. And I loved that part of the trip just as much as going on the trip. So I had gotten all this information together. I had been reading all of these trip reports, and I put them all in a huge binder. And guys, I actually found the binder that I used to use. I mean, when I say huge, this is the binder. It's nothing special. It didn't have anything Disney on it. It was just a huge binder that we just happened to have in the house. And what I ended up doing was putting different categories. And I've used this binder. I used this binder for several more trips. So it's not the original information that was in it, but this was let me see all the different tabs. So I don't think the tabs have changed that much. So I had pre-travel, tips, hotel information, general information, Magic Kingdom, MGM was what it was called at the time, Epcot, parades, Animal Kingdom, because in 1998 when we went for the first time, Animal Kingdom had just opened. That was a great time to go. Let's see, I have parades, resorts. At the time there was Pleasure Island, if some of you guys remember. I have a tab for shopping, a tab for entertainment, shops, food, and miscellaneous. And that's how I set up my first ever Walt Disney World planning binder. And guys, it was like this thick. The good thing is we were traveling by car. We rented a van. To traveling with. So let me tell you who was on this trip. So on this trip was my husband and I and our 3 children, and my mom and my godparents. Originally, it was supposed to be like a big church trip, but it ended up that no one was able to go. And I can't even tell you how much we paid at the time, but we got a 5-day pass, and we were going to be there for a week. Now, I had an aunt that lived in Florida in Port St. Lucie. So part of our trip was not just going to be about Disney, but we also decided to go see my aunt while I was there. Sister and my mom and I had actually taken a trip to Florida before that for the very first time. And guys, honestly, I fell in love with Florida even before I saw Disney for the first time. But once I went to Disney, like, Florida became the place that I obsessed about. And so I had gathered all this information. We had been planning it for what seemed like forever. And the children, Marcus and I, were going to be traveling by ourselves, and then my mom and my godparents were going to be coming later. So we left early that morning. After we picked up our van, we got on the road, and the reason why my mom and my godparents weren't going to be driving with us is because my husband had decided the 14-hour trip was not worth him stopping at a hotel. We were just going to drive straight through. We had a van. If he got a little tired, he was just going to stop at a couple of rest stops and get a little break, bathroom breaks, whatever. We were going to drive all the way through. We didn't stay on property the first time. It just was not in the budget. But my mom, when they originally had been planning it to be a trip for a bunch of people, they had found a hotel, and we decided to stick with that hotel. And that hotel ended up being Buena Vista Suites Hotel. I did a review of Buena Vista, and I have a link that I will put up to show you what I feel about that hotel. We ended up using that hotel for many times more, so it is actually one of my favorite off-site hotels to stay at. So the first year we didn't stay on site. We stopped in Florida at the welcome site, and then like that became a must for the family. Anytime we were on a trip, we had to stop there because we had to get the orange juice. I just thought that was so neat. I've never been to a rest stop where they actually gave you something besides brochures, so that became a must do on the list of things. We always had to take a picture underneath the sign in Florida that you welcome to Florida sign. So I guess I had never really understood how far away Orlando was from when you first into Florida. So the very first time, like, we were so excited, couldn't wait to get there, said, oh, we're in Florida, it's not gonna be much longer, not realizing it's another 3 hours. So we got on I-4, and so when we got on I-4, like, that was like a nightmare. And the time we got there was in the middle of rush hour traffic in the afternoon, so you can only imagine. So thankfully we got to our hotel. We knew we weren't going to be staying there except for that one night, so I don't think we unpacked everything, and we were never people who pack lightly, so it's probably a good thing that we've done most of our travel by car. So we spent the night there, and I want to say that first night we were just so tired that it didn't really matter. We got in. I think we did go around and kind of see, we got like a glimpse of downtown Disney, because that's what it was called at the time, because our hotel wasn't far from there. We stayed at a Hampton Inn, if I'm not mistaken. And then the next morning we got up, and I'm not really sure what we did that morning, because I'm pretty sure we didn't go immediately to the parks, because we were waiting for our family to get there, and they spent the night somewhere and then joined us the next day. So at some point we did get to check into the Buena Vista Suites, and oh my goodness, I remember the reason I liked the hotel so much was because it was literally like a suite. It had a living area that had a pull-out sofa, and then it had two full-size beds, a large bathroom with a sink outside, and it had a microwave and a refrigerator. So for us, a family of 5, that's all we needed. So after checking in, that afternoon was the first time that I got to see Disney up close and personal. So one of the first things we did was we set up a reservation to go eat at the Polynesian resort. And if you don't know by now, Ohana is my favorite resort dining experience. And so that night, my family and I went. My godparents didn't go and my mom didn't go. And I want to say at the time, it was probably about $25 a person. So it was still an expensive meal. I mean, it's doubled since that time. But I had done enough research to know that we would definitely get enough to eat. And there were things on the plate. My children weren't picky people, but I knew that what was on the menu they would like. So we drove our rental van, to towards the signs. Now, this was a great thing about the hotel we were at. It was only 5 minutes from the gate. So we left the hotel that we were staying at and headed towards Disney. And the first time that I saw the Disney sign saying "Welcome to Disney" and the big arch thing saying Walt Disney World, like I just lost it. I was so excited I didn't even know what to do myself. I knew we had to go towards Magic Kingdom. So the closer we got to those gates, I was even more excited. And then seeing the hotel resorts for the first time, like, I'm one of those people who gets excited about everything, and I even get excited about seeing the resorts. So we got to the gate. We told them we were going to go have dinner at the Polynesian Resort. And I want to say the first time we ever went to the Polynesian Resort, we didn't realize how big it was. So where we parked probably was not the best place to park. After we got through the gate, we went and found a parking spot, but then trying to find where the main lobby area was, because of where we parked, it took us a minute. And so we got to walk around and see some of the resort. And I instantly thought, man, this is like being on an island. It just, with the tiki, by then, because we had an evening, meal, the tiki torches were lit. You could hear the music going. Like, I was done. We got checked in. And then when they called our names, because I don't think at the time that they had the little buzzers, I'm pretty sure they didn't have the buzzers back then. So we got checked in. They called our name, and the lady says, "Welcome, cousins Ohana." I mean, okay. As far as I was concerned, I was in Hawaii. We enjoyed our meal. Like, I really enjoyed it so much, I said I would come back again in a heartbeat. Just because of the atmosphere, because of the food, watching the cooks at the kitchen area. Like, it was just, I just can't describe it. I can't explain why I like Ohana. And it could be because it was the first restaurant that we ever went to that was a Disney resort restaurant. But yeah, I fell in love. So after we had dinner, we went down to the beach. And because I had done the research, so I knew you could go down to the beach and you could see the fireworks from Magic Kingdom. And we got to see the water pageant parade for the first time. Now, I know some people think it's cheesy and it's not anything big, but for us and my kids, it was just a lot of fun just seeing it out on the water. And it was so much fun being down on the beach with other people. I think we even went out on the pier and just walked around. And then afterwards, we got on the monorail. One of the things that I forgot to mention about our One of the things that I forgot to mention about our dinner at Ohana was our kids participated in the activities that they did at Ohana, and my daughter was my youngest daughter was one of the ones who got up. They used to do a hula hoop dance. And it was like a contest and who could hula hoop the longest. And I'm almost positive that we have a video of her hula hooping. If I can find that, I'm going to insert that in my video. And my son participated in the activities, and he got to stand up in front of the fire where the grill is, and I think they held up a pineapple.
Has anybody been riding the monorail today? Yeah. No? Those of you who have, you're in luck. Those of you who haven't, you're just going to have to hope. Right. The secret to getting out of the sacrifice is getting aboard a monorail. Okay? So with a little luck, I can help you get out. So what I need you to do is face the Luna Ukiahi, the keeper of the flame. Chef Mike, what do you think? I need you to hold your offerings high over your heads. I need you to hold your offerings high over your heads. And I need you to repeat after me. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Aloha. Ohana. Chef Mike, what do you think? That's pitiful, cousins. Pitiful. No. Cousins, they need some help. I need everybody out in the audience to raise their hands high over their heads. Help these dead cousins out. Repeat after me the magic words. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Louder. Aloha. Ohana. Chef Mike, what do you think? Cousins, you have been forgiven. But, as part of your punishment, you must keep the ceremonial headdress on for the rest of your meal. Please don't let me catch you without it on. Thank you very much, cousins. Enjoy your meal.
They held up something. I don't remember what exactly it was, but when I was going through my scrapbook, I found a picture of him standing in front of the fire. those were just some added memories that I remembered from Ohana. But we got on a monorail, and because I knew, because of research, that we could resort hop, we got on a monorail. And the first time around, we went all the way around. So I even got to see a glimpse of Epcot. And then when we came back, we decided to do the resorts. And I got to see inside of the Contemporary Resort, which was just so cool. We got off and walked into the Grand Floridian, which is like, wow. To this day, when I see the Grand Floridian, I just go, wow. So that was our very first official day experience in Disney. And it was a great start to a vacation. So over the next couple of days, like I said, we had a 5-day pass. I don't remember in which order we saw the parks, but I'm pretty sure that we went to Magic Kingdom first. And one of the first memories I have of Magic Kingdom was the minute that we got off of the boat, because we took the ferry boat, and stepped in onto the Magic Kingdom park. I just couldn't believe I was there. So we went through the gate, and before we could even see the castle really, really good, we noticed that there were characters everywhere. Like when we went through, there was Goofy, and then we looked over and there was Minnie Mouse. And so we spent like the first hour probably getting autographs of all the different characters. I think we saw Pluto and Minnie, and it was just like, wow. And then finally, I got to see the castle up close, and that was like, wow. That is my favorite thing of all at Magic Kingdom, is when you first walk in and you see the castle and you walk down Main Street. Like, now it was July and it was hot. So there was that. And the first couple of days, my godfather wasn't feeling well, so they didn't get to experience it with us those first few days. I don't think we had a hopper at the time. I think we just had where we had the park for one day and we had to choose which park, but you could go back in. And I had done enough research, I'm telling you guys, research is everything, that I knew that it was important that you take a break in the afternoon to get yourself together because it's so hot, and then come back later on in the day. So that's what we did when we did our trip. So we visited Magic Kingdom. At the time, Mickey and Minnie's house was still up because there was Toontown. We rode the Thunder Mountain Railroad. We rode the train off of Main Street. We went on the boat ride. Why can't I think of the name of it? When I do, I'll put it here. And it's
Back to when I was a barefoot boy growing up alongside the riverbank. You know, it seems to me that when I was younger, I could remember everything, whether it happened or not. But as I grow older, I seem to remember only the things that never happened at all.
Funny, when we went on Thunder Mountain Railroad, my youngest daughter at the time, she refused to get on that ride. For her, it was like a roller coaster. Now, I had done enough research that I knew it was kind of like a roller coaster, but it was something I felt like I could handle. So That was the first time we experienced Disney magic, as in how great the cast members are, because my daughter just did not want to go, but everyone else wanted to go. She kept saying, well, y'all just go. I'm not going to go by myself. And we didn't want to leave her by herself. I want to say at the time she was maybe 10. I'm not even sure. Anyway, the cast members told us she can stay here with us. You guys get on a ride, and when you get off, she'll be still sitting here with us. She's going to be okay. Don't worry about her. And so we all got on the ride. Now, we also did Splash Mountain. And guys, that was the first time I ever did Splash Mountain, and it was the last time I ever did Splash Mountain. And we took my mom on it. No one prepared me. I knew that there was going to be a dip, but nobody really prepared me for the fact that my butt would come up out of the boat almost. So I had been on flume rides at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg because I lived in the area. No problem. I've done the dips, no problem. But there was something about Splash Mountain that freaked me out. And I promised myself I would never do it again. And my mama told me if I ever did that to her again, put her on that ride, that she would kill me. As a matter of fact, my mom has never gone back to Disney since then. So let's see, we did Magic Kingdom, and I want to say we went to Magic Kingdom twice. So we got to see a lot. We went on the teacups, we went on the People Mover, we went on the Carousel of Progress, like all of the classics we went on. We got to see the parade at 3 o'clock. That was the only time we stayed in the park during that time. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, did I say give it a thumbs up? If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? And if you want to know when the videos will come out, all you do have to do is hit that little notification bell below. So until I see you the next time, have a blessed day. Bye.